a whisper of reed pens on wet clay. Before pyramids rose, before Rome, before the prophets and the kings, a civilization emerged beside the slow waters of the Euphrates. Its cities glowed with torchlight, its ziggurats climbed the sky, and its scribes recorded the world in symbols that would someday be forgotten. For thousands of years, their words lay silent beneath the earth. Until now, what these ancient records describe about the origins of humanity may be older, stranger, and more astonishing than we ever imagined. In the land once called Sumer, modern-day southern Iraq, archaeologists uncovered one of the earliest known writing systems on Earth. Cuneiform. Written on clay tablets hardened by time and fire, these texts record laws, harvests, prayers, astronomy, kingship, and creation. And unlike the myths that came after, these records were not meant as stories. They were meant as documentation. The Sumerians did not only invent writing, they charted the stars, developed the earliest known schools, libraries, legal courts, and even forms of parliamentary councils. Their cities, Uruk, Eridu, Lagash, rose from marshland and desert like visions from another world. At night, priests climbed their step towers to watch the heavens. They believed the movements of stars and planets were messages written by divine hands. Among the oldest Sumerian tablets is a text known today as the King List. It is simple in appearance, but profound in meaning. It describes the rulers of the world before any dynasty known today, and it states that kingship, authority itself, descended from the heavens. Before the Great Flood, it says, there were 8 kings. They ruled not for decades nor centuries, but for tens of thousands of years. To the modern eye, this seems impossible. A poetic exaggeration, perhaps. Yet the text is repeated across many clay tablets found in different cities, separated by distance and time. These records were copied, studied, preserved. They were considered history, not myth. But who were these long-lived rulers? Why were their reigns measured not in lifetimes, but in geological eras? And why did the text insist that after the flood, the span of human life suddenly and dramatically shortened? As archaeologists and historians began to interpret these tablets, they noticed something else. The Sumerians claimed that knowledge, measurement, farming, music, writing, weaving, architecture, was given to them by divine visitors called the Anuna, those who came from above. These beings were not described as spirits. They walked, ruled, taught, argued, and sometimes went to war. They had names, roles, symbols, and genealogies, yet the tablets never call them gods in the way later cultures would. They were powerful, yes, but physical, tangible, present. Around this time in the script, a soft reminder for the audience. If discoveries that reshape history fascinate you, consider subscribing to GenealogyX, where ancient records and modern knowledge meet to illuminate the forgotten story of humanity. The tablets describe early humans not as accidental animals, but as beings shaped for purpose. According to one Sumerian creation text, humanity was formed from a mixture of clay and the essence of the divine. To some scholars, this is metaphor. To others, it suggests something stranger, a memory of early genetic intervention encoded in myth. Yet every claim must be approached carefully. There is no need for speculation when the facts alone are astonishing. The Sumerians built cities aligned with celestial cycles. Their star charts accurately tracked Venus with a precision modern astronomers confirmed only recently. Their medical tablets described blood circulation thousands of years before it was rediscovered. Their mathematics used place value and geometry long before Greece or Egypt formalized them. Where did such knowledge come from all at once, in a place where no earlier civilization has been found beneath it? Archaeologists refer to this as the Sumerian Problem. Sumer appears suddenly, fully formed, with writing, astronomy, agriculture, architecture, metallurgy, legal systems, and trade networks without a developmental prehistory. Civilizations normally grow slowly. Sumer did not. It is as if it remembered something old, something taught Something inherited, even the layout of their cities, suggests advanced planning. Streets aligned with cardinal directions. Canals engineered to manage seasonal flooding with hydraulic precision. Temples built not randomly, but in accordance with stellar orientation. Among the most intriguing tablets discovered in the ruins of the library of Ashurbanipal is a record of how the world was measured. It lists distances between cities that modern satellite mapping confirms with surprising accuracy. A civilization over 4,500 years ago measured the Earth with a precision we only regained in the age of global navigation. How? And then there is the story of Eridu, a city the Sumerians called the first city, the place where civilization began. Beneath its sand-covered ruins, archaeologists found layer upon layer of temples, built one on top of another, reaching back deeper than recorded history. The lowest layers date to a time when humanity was believed to be little more than tribal nomads. Yet here, there were priests, symbols, ceremony, architecture. The earliest temple floor is polished, smooth, deliberate. Someone knew how to build before the world learned how to farm. Where did that knowledge come from? When scientists examined the Sumerian calendar system, they found something even more perplexing. Its numbers are based on cycles of the Earth, Moon, and Venus. Not only does the system predict lunar phases, it accounts for the long-term wobble of the Earth's axis, a cycle of about 26,000 years. Knowledge requiring continuous observation, far longer than recorded human civilization. Knowledge inherited, perhaps, or remembered. And then there are the myths of the Great Flood. The Sumerians wrote of a flood that destroyed cities, reshaped the land, and forced humanity to begin again. The story is older than the Book of Genesis, older than Babylonian epics. Modern geology confirms that around 6,000 to 10,000 years ago, massive flooding events occurred in Mesopotamia, caused by shifting rivers and melting Ice Age waters. The flood was real. The memory survived. The records endure. Evidence suggests that humans may have carried fragments of knowledge across that destruction, knowledge later reassembled into the civilization of Sumer. So the question is not whether the Sumerians were advanced. They were. The question is, who taught the first teachers? Was it earlier humans whose civilizations were erased by time and water? A culture lost to disaster, remembered only as gods, or something more ancient than we yet understand? And now, a second gentle reminder. If exploring humanity's forgotten origins brings you peace, wonder, or perspective, you are invited to subscribe to GenealogyX, where history is not just dates, but memory. As we rest beneath the weight of these questions, the mind drifts like the old river channels of Sumer. The cities are quiet now. Their walls have been reclaimed by sand. Yet the clay tablets remain, speaking softly across 5,000 years. The last thought before sleep is this: the story of humanity may be far older than history books suggest, older than stone, older than flood, older even than memory. Perhaps we are not simply wanderers who built civilization from dust. Perhaps we are heirs to something forgotten, and one day, when the last tablet is read and the last city fully uncovered, we may finally learn what the Sumerians always believed, that we were never alone.